welcome to the Arsenal show. And it's the Arsenal and Chelsea pre-match preview. Dun, dun, dun. There'll be some worried Arsenal fans out there, but not this one. Not this one. Maybe this one. How you doing, Steve?
How you doing, Kieran? You all right, mate? Yeah, you're spot on, mate. A very worried, especially worried Arsenal fan after last week.
It's understandable. It's understandable. However, they have made couple of new signings since then. So maybe the addition of or the presence of Aaron Ramsdale will make Leno a bit more wary about his position, and obviously Martin Odegaard, who's not available though. But we will go into the team news quickly. So the team news for tomorrow, for Sunday's game. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is facing a late fitness test as he's recovering from COVID. Since we will get onto that in a bit. No Lacazette still. He still has COVID symptoms. So does Willian and Alex Runnison. Martin Odegaard as it is pronounced, I'm told, is unavailable for the game as he's still waiting visa clearance following his move from Real Madrid. And Aaron Ramsdale, he could actually be in contention for the game. But I very much doubt it. As a goalkeeper myself, it feels too quick to introduce another goalkeeper straight into the team. Doesn't even know the players' names barely, or doesn't know them personally. So all the way they play, which is integral to having a goalkeeper in goal doing well. Gabriel is out with a knee injury that he suffered during the Olympics while out on Olympic duty with Brazil. Eddie Nketiah is still out with an ankle ligament damage. And Thomas Partey is still not fit. However, it is said that he could be fit by the end of the month, which is only a week away. Steve, with that starting lineup told you, is that ease the worry any? Is that ease the worry any? Come on.
No.
Not one iota. Not one iota. Not having it at all.
No. I mean, look, we can't sugarcoat this. I mean, Chelsea are an excellent side, and if they play to their full potential, then they should win the game. What I want to see from Arsenal, I just need to see some kind of improvement from last week. I mean, look, of course, I want to win the game, and when we played Chelsea in the past, we've been a little bit of a bogey side to them. So, I'm hanging on the coattails of that.
Of hope. Hanging on the coattails of hope. That's what I'm using. Hanging on the coattails of hope.
That should be the title of the show.
That is
hanging on the coattails of hope.
That is definitely going to be there somewhere. It's going to be.
But look, it's going to be immensely difficult. It turned out to be immensely difficult last week, and it's going to be even more so this week. But saying that, they must have gone in training on Monday. And look, if there's a game that to get back from that defeat against Brentford and get some of the fans back on their side and get some confidence back in that dressing room, it's to go out there on Sunday afternoon and beat Chelsea. But you go through the side, and even a full strength Arsenal, you think that they'd struggle to beat this Chelsea side. But it's they're Chelsea are all over the pitch, just far superior. So it's very difficult, and is it worrying? I just want to see a good performance, Kieran. I don't mind. Look, I just said that if we lose, I don't want to see us lose. I want to win the game, but I need to see an improvement from last week.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. It's totally understandable, and it's a big game for Arsenal. As you said, we do seem to be a bit of a bogey team for Chelsea, as long as Jose Mourinho ain't the manager, of course. But there was a lot went against us before we even started last week. It's no excuse because we shouldn't be rolling over against Brentford so easily. But that would have definitely been a slap in the face and a wake up call to all the players that if you've forgotten the intensity of any Premier League, like of any football, it's the Premier League. Like, don't forget, like, and that's a stark reminder to fix up before any game. Because if that's the team that's just been promoted, you need to wake up against a team that's just won the Champions League. So I feel like they'd be more prepared. They'd be a week more prepared. But I think the touchwood, the addition of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang will give the team a lift because he is our talisman. He had a bad season last season. A lot went on, a lot of illnesses. His mum's ill. He was ill. He had malaria. It just wasn't a good season for him. But hopefully he can put that behind him and move on and be the captain and then show what he's got. Steve, who do you think is going to start? Give us, in fact, give us your starting lineup with the team that we know is out there.
My starting lineup, not
Arteta's. Give us your starting lineup. Yeah.
Like you said right from the beginning, I think it's too early for Ramsdale to come in straight away and take the number one spot. Although for me, in Arteta's mind, he is the number one. Mm-hmm. You don't pay 24 million for a goalkeeper for a second goalkeeper. Not that I have ever been aware of, anyway. So, but Leno will be in goal for me. I wouldn't risk Ramsdale this early. For right back, I would play Cedric. I don't think he gets enough time. I don't think he gets enough game time.
Yeah, he doesn't get enough of a run, does he?
Nah, I've always liked him, and he don't do a lot wrong in my eyes. He gets down that wing, he gets some crosses in. He's got a shot on him. He likes to cut inside, and he's a decent defender. Chambers struggled last week, so maybe it's time to bring in Cedric as at the centre back. You've obviously got to keep Ben White in there. You can't pull him out.
Yeah.
I'd probably play Holding instead of Mari. Reason being, I think at this moment in time, I think Holding and White would have a better partnership together. Mm-hmm. Both play with each other with England. And at left back, it obviously goes to show that it's Kieran. It's going to be Kieran Tierney. In the midfield, I'm going to give Lagonga a go. Mm-hmm. I'm tempted to put El Neni in. But I don't want to judge Lagonga in one game. So I'll play him with Xhaka in the middle there, with Emil Smith Rowe sitting in the front. If we're saying that if Aubameyang's fit, I'll play him down the middle with Pepe on the left and Saka on the right.
All right. But what do you think Arteta will go with? What of your team do you think he'd change?
I don't think Aubameyang's going to play. I don't think he'll pick him. I just got a funny feeling he won't. So I think he'll probably put Balogun or Nikita up front. In the middle, I think he'll change
Eddie Nketiah's out. Eddie Nketiah's out still.
Right. Okay. So
it's Balogun.
Balogun then. Yeah. I think he'll play Balogun again. I think Arteta will bring Elneny in. I think he will. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I want to see. He didn't have a good game, Lakonga, last week against Brentford, but I don't want to. I want to see more games in him, and I don't think it'll do the kid any good if he's been dropped. But I got a funny feeling that that El Neni will do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the rest of it, I think he'll play Chambers, and I think he'll play Mari. I think he'll stick with that. But like I said, I, I think that would be the wrong decision.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about the Conga. I think he needs time to adapt to
Yeah.
the pace because I think he could be a serious player in a season or two's time. Maybe a season's too early, but in a couple of years to a few years' time, I think he's got all the attributes to be a serious central midfielder. He's box to box as well. His vision. I watch him in training every time there's an Arsenal video in training. I'm watching him, and he's hitting the ground running in training. I don't know what that says about the rest of the players at training, but he's spraying balls. He's getting stuck in. He's no fear. He doesn't care who he's going to put a tackle in. He's that kind of player, and I think that's what Arsenal need. Is that kind of energy in and around the central midfield. So I wouldn't mind seeing him play as well.
Do you know what I feel? I feel that Arteta was asking the Conga to do last week, and that was put the Conga to do too much defending. He's playing the Conga with Xhaka. He's obviously, I understand Arteta wants to protect that back line. Personally, I would risk it with Lokonga. I think he's going to play mega safe on Sunday and bring El Neni in and sort of just to protect and try and hit Chelsea on the break. But yeah, I just hope to see a little bit more from him. I hope to see a little bit more from Nicolas Pepe. Hopefully he'll get more in the game. Hopefully Saka will come in from the start. So hopefully we've got that extra bit of quality up front. And if Aubameyang plays, that will give us that extra bit of quality as well. But that's the problem with Arsenal at the moment, is finding those little bits of quality. They're very, very few and far between. That our players seem to be so inconsistent that you're just not seeing it from our players, that often. We need to get a run of games where these players are doing well game after game after game, instead of going in and out of games and having one good game and then three bad ones. It seems to be a trait with Arsenal over the last few seasons now.
Yeah, it's very stop-start, isn't it?
Very, very stop-start. So, yeah, Chelsea, the way they play, it's going to be difficult for Arsenal anyway, because the way they play, they play with like 7 defenders.
Yeah. They're so he's so meticulous as well, Tuchel, with his team set up and his structure and the way he's passing and how they play. He doesn't leave much room for error. So that's the thing. And what Arsenal needs to do is they need to make sure they exploit it and capitalise on those errors when they do happen, because every team makes mistakes. It's just about taking the chances when you get them and having your best day, because Arsenal will need to have their best day to get a result. They may be able to sneak a draw on a day where they make a couple of mistakes or lapses in concentration, but you're asking for trouble there. That's riding on luck. But if Arsenal play at their best, they may be able to get something out of the game.
They play a 3-4-2-1. Chelsea. That's the formation they played. They played that way, and people say, well, that's their defense. That's a defensive. That's like a defensive way, but it's not. They played that way against Crystal Palace last week, and they wiped the floor with them. They had like the 3 at the back, which we're sort of renowned with Chelsea now. Goes all the way back to that game against Conte, where Arsenal beat them 3-0 at the Emirates, and he changed them straight after into a 3 at the back, and then they went on and won the title. And ever since then they've not changed, even with managers coming in. They've kept it at the same formation. They had Chalobah, Christensen, and Rudiger, sitting as the 3 at the back, and then you've got that 4 across the middle of Aspilicueta, Jorginho, Kovacic, and Alonso. It's just so strong. It's just so the experience and our young players are gonna. I'm talking. do you know what? I'm talking to myself into bringing El Nini in as I'm talking here.
So Arteta's going to play on any. I'll play the Conga. And more and more you're
Yeah,
talking about it. Do you know what? Arteta's right. I'm going to start with. I was going to
yeah,
start with El
yeah.
Nene.
But that is going to be that's Asmaqueta, Jorginho, Kovacic, and Alonso last week against um, Crystal Palace, and then
Yeah,
obviously they had Mount and Pulisic, and then they had Werner this week. It looks like they're going to have Lukaku
Lukaku.
up front in evil burst. I mean, and last week when they played against Palace, they didn't have James, they didn't have Chilwell, they didn't have Havertz, and they didn't have Thiago Silva. Um, just quality to burn. It's frightening, but it's again, I'm frightened. It could be a men against boys situation here, and I think that's the way Chelsea play. They'll sit and sit and sit. They'll just break up the play, and then they'll hit with Mount or Pulisic or Werner and Lukaku, and they'll kill you. It's going to be so difficult. It's so difficult.
It's going to be a tough
It's
game. It's going to be very, very tough. Key man. Who would you have as your key man? Now, as you know, it doesn't have to be your top goal scorer. It could be an important player. And I've got a feeling you're going to be talking about a key man is going to be a defender tomorrow or someone playing defensive.
yeah.
Who would your key man be, Steve?
Key man's going to be the man who's. I mean, if Lukaku's playing, it's definitely going to be the key man who's going to have to try and stop him, because if you don't stop him, it's good night. He's got to. I can't really see any of our defenders good enough or quick enough or strong enough to handle him if he's at his best. Key man, who could be the key man? It could be Leno. It could be Leno.
I was going to say, you can't be picking Lukaku. I thought he was picking a Chelsea for a second. I thought he was picking a Chelsea player for you.
It seriously could be Bernd Leno. He will have to have a serious good game tomorrow.
Yeah, which it may sound harsh, but for me that's quite worrying, and not too much of a part on Arsenal. But Leno can, on one day he can be world class, and the next day he can be mid-table Premier League, and it's just you never know what you're going to get with Leno. And it's not that he does it often, but it feels like it's in important games or an important moment in a game. There was once against Wolves last season. There was another game where he got sent off. I think in and around that Wolves game, he come flying out the box. It's just, and those were important games. We lost those games by one goal or drew, but also I've watched him in games where he's kept us in it. The Chelsea game last season when it was 10 minutes left and it was 2-0 up, and then they scored, and then Chelsea had a penalty, and he saved the pen. So he does. He's a very good goalkeeper, but it's worrying that Bernd Leno is going to have to be the key man tomorrow. But either way, whether it's him or not, he has to have a great game.
He does. Will Arsenal play? I'm thinking as we're talking along, as we're talking about the game, as the game's getting closer, as we're sort of going through the Chelsea players and how they play. Well, maybe Arteta will match up with Chelsea, and also play three at the back with the four defensive players across the middle. Is that possibility? Because they're so strong, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past him matching them up against him, but then you going toe to toe, and as you said, how much different is it going to be from last week's team, last week's starting lineup, especially if you haven't got the Aubameyang in there. If you're going to play Lokonga, is that a bit too much? Is it going to be going toe to toe with them, player for player? They may have to do their own thing, but I see Arsenal sitting in and trying to break down Chelsea.
Could they play the three?
I hate Chelsea on the break.
Could they play El Neni, Could they play El Neni, Lokonga, and El Neni? He's done it before. I've seen it.
Maybe. I have no clue. You never know what Arteta is going to do. I don't know what. I have no clue what he's going to do.
What Chelsea have got, they've got Aspilicueta on the right, and they had Alonso on the left last week, where we haven't got the experience of those two players going down one side and another one going down the other.
No, we haven't, but we can expose. Although experienced, and I really rate Aspilicueta, he can be got at with pace and good movement and hitting them on the break at as I just said, at pace. None of this slow sidewards, backwards. I completely get you've got to draw a player in and stuff like that and things like that. That's part of the game. However, when we hit on the break, it can't be pedestrian. It has to be lightning quick. We have to use their attributes, and we have got quick players in our team, and tricky players as well. So I think we need to make sure we do that.
Is there anyone, Kears, who you think could? Because we haven't got the players tomorrow. If Lacazette's out, if Aubameyang's out, and Nketiah's out, all we got there is left there is Balogun. I mean, I don't know what people in the comments, people watching, tell us what you think. Could Arsenal play a false nine? Is there anyone there that can play a false nine?
There's no one there. I think it'd be a waste of time. Honestly, I'd be quite annoyed if he played a false nine, because it would be Emil Smith-Rowe, and I've seen him do that before. It just didn't work. With the false nine, you had to have a very attacking mind players. Emil Smith-Rowe, although an attacking midfielder, is not attack minded when it comes to shooting, scoring. Maybe Pepe, but Pepe would just drift out wide. Saka, maybe, but again, not enough of a presence, not enough of a. I think he needs the wing to help him to know where he's about. It's very hard for wingers that aren't forwards to then go into centre forward. Very hard, very, very, very hard. So I don't think there's anyone in there that could do that false nine job. If I'm honest,
and even with you saying that there's no one in there, that's a damning situation that. We can't bring someone in to do that job. Because most of the lot of sides think, oh yeah, we can bring someone in. They can play the false nine because it's very popular.
Well, for me, it's more of a damning thing that we haven't got another striker that can.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like another centre forward, like just a centre forward, because Aubameyang has been playing the left for the last 4 seasons or 3 seasons. Lacazette's been the only centre forward. Other than that, you've got Eddie Nketiah.
No disrespect.
He looked very sharp in pre-season, the sharpest I've seen him. But that's more damning. Sorry, you skipped. But I was saying that's more damning. The fact that you've not got centre forward replacement for Lacazette. That. So that's what I'd say. Steve, score prediction.
Yeah. Score prediction. I can't see us winning the game. I can't see us winning this. The best I can hope for is a draw. Part of me thinks it could be a ball draw, and it could even be a 0-0.
I'll take that.
But I'm going to see what happens. Because I've got a funny feeling. Leno's going to have the game of his life.
Yeah.
We haven't got the power up front to score a goal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just praying to God that our defenders can hold off their forwards.
Yeah.
So
Romelu Lukaku, no pressure.
Yeah.
Still going for 0-0.
I'm gonna go for 0-0. I'm gonna have Ben White's gonna have a great game, and Lenu's gonna be come back. I'm gonna come back on here on Sunday afternoon and say, look, man of the match, Ben Leno. So but I can't, Kieran, I can't see where we're going to get a goal from up the other end. I just can't. There's nobody there. If Aubameyang's playing, there's still Aubameyang of 2 seasons ago. You'd be like, yeah, he can nick one, but there's no guarantee.
What's the rest of the players doing? Yeah, it is that. Look, it's a big game. It's a tough game, a horrible game to have very early in the season. It would have been nice if Arsenal would have got a win against Brentford to have some momentum to go into the game. I know that fans, people would have watched the Brentford game, even if we would have won, and I would have said it's nice to take momentum, it would have been like, remember, it's Brentford. But it would have been nice to get a win to take into the Chelsea game. We haven't got that. So we're going to have to use that as a catalyst to say, well, that is way below what we need to be to match up against these. We need to put in 4, 5, 6, 7 times the effort and the application to make sure we don't even lose against Chelsea. So let's bring it. And I hope they use some sort of motivation from the last game to learn from their mistakes and know that the Premier League has really started. It's not going to wait for them. It's there. The season's ready to go.
Yeah. But when you say we've brought in how many players now? We've brought in the Congo, we brought in Ben White, brought in Tavares, brought in Martin Odegaard, we brought in Ramsdale. I was sitting here about an hour ago and I was thinking to myself, there's still not enough for me.
It's still far off. It's missing a couple of here and now players that are ready to go straight into the starting lineup, not squad players, not competition. Like it's ready. It needs two beasts, and I'm not talking about world class players. I'm talking about the right players. I'm talking about players that are experienced enough to know how to get into Europe again, how to do this, how to do that, how to not afraid to tell people what to do, where to go, and how to do it. Like that's what this team needs.
Yeah. But obviously we've got to be realistic of the type of player that will want to come to the club as well.
Yeah, that's why I said world class. It doesn't have to be world class. It needs to be the right player. I've always advocated that it's got to be the right player, and there's plenty of them out there. There's plenty of the right players out there. As I said many a time, Arsenal used to buy the player that didn't do it at the big move. They used to get in that player. Like they're proven to an extent. There's always a risk. They're hungry, but they didn't make it. But look. Bergkamp went to Inter Milan, didn't have a great time at Inter Milan, came to Arsenal, wealthy. Vieira went to AC Milan, didn't work out, wealthy. Henry went to Juventus, didn't work out, wealthy. But all of these players were known players before they moved. They were already players where it was like, this geezer. Thierry Henry was and David Trezeguet with Monaco were like two of the hottest property in Europe. So Bergkamp won a European Cup with Ajax, and Vieira was one of the best untapped talents in France. So, which is why he was at AC Milan. So there we go. I could talk about this all day long.
See, we just before we go. I mean, we brought in Ben White, and such as a good player he was, our defence wasn't the problem last season.
No,
it wasn't the problem. So when he came in, I wasn't really, jumping up and
I get that.
The same with Lokonga, young kid prospect, hype. What would he be? Same with Tavares. The next one we got to come, Odegaard. I'm well pleased with that. I think he's an Arsenal player, if that makes any sense.
No, he is.
He's an Arsenal man. He's an Arsenal player, and that's why I'm excited about him. But there's just the type of player. I don't know what sort of fitness he is at the moment, but someone like Raul Jimenez, someone like Callum Wilson.
Raul Jimenez.
You go and get them.
Raul Jimenez is a perfect example. Okay, he's Premier League proven, but he's also had a season out with a bad injury. So if Arsenal were smart and they were to lose Lacazette, why not go out and get a Jimenez? Because I guarantee you'd be able to get him on a discount price. Wolves need the money. And he's like I said, he's added a year less in his contract. They wouldn't be getting that 100 million, even 70 million that we're trying to get off of Juventus last year. So that they're the kind of players I think that Arsenal could get in and would improve the team big time, big time. But that's down to the man upstairs, Edu. All right, Steve. So you're giving your prediction. It's a 0-0 prediction he's given. I mean, if we can get that,
Has there ever been a 0-0?
If we could get that, I would be absolutely over the moon. Make sure you join us for the Arsenal show. We will be covering the new signings of Aaron Ramsdale. We'll be talking about Martin Odegaard. And we definitely will be covering the drama that was COVID stroke. Why didn't they tell us? Because it's none of your business. But yeah, I need to get that off my chest. All right. Thanks for joining us, Steve.
You're welcome, mate. Yep. Cheers.
All right. Peace out. Stay safe and wash.